Here it is. Episode 67. Here we are. We're back. We got little beach waves going everywhere. We were on vacation. Not everybody, some of us, but we're back. And it's episode 67. I got Matt right here.
Hello, everyone.
And I got Alan right here.
What's going on? Good to see you guys. Good to see anybody who's on watching live with us now or who will be watching a recording later on.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice to have you back. Nice to have you guys back.
Yeah. We took a little bit of a break for life reasons. And we are here. So what's been going on? It's been 2 weeks. What's been going on, Matt?
Teaching, getting sick, taking a day off tomorrow, building a desk, which I'm sitting at now, moving furniture, which I'm not done doing, and adding a few, Dwayne Wade cards to the collection, something new, an endeavor that you guys have helped me kind of narrow my focus down to. And it's been nice to talk to Greg about this specifically because he collects Larry Bird. And we see, as Larry, I see him over your shoulder back there hitting the J. So yeah, that's been really fun to kind of discover all those cards because they're so different from baseball and basketball, baseball and hockey. And so that's been fun. The flurries are coming in slow and also still exciting. And I got a chance to talk to some of the upper deck on the hockey roundtable a couple episodes ago, if you guys saw that, but that was really special. And so yeah, it's been good. Just getting ready to start coaching basketball. That starts 6 weeks. So I'm excited to take the next 3 days and kind of chill and catch up on some sleep, and looking forward to chatting with you guys.
So what's brought on the Dwayne Wade collection? How'd that start?
Man, most influential athlete in my life. I mean, I grew up wanting to play hockey, and that didn't work out. Funny enough, moved to Soldotna. Hockey was everywhere, and I didn't push hard enough for it. You know, my parents were just like, it's too expensive to play goalie, sorry. And I didn't fight it. I didn't say, fine, I'll mow lawns, I'll clean the house, I didn't do what most kids would have done and just beg to play. And so they got me a basketball hoop in a gravel slanted driveway, and I just spent hours watching the All-Star games over and over, the 2001 All-Star game with Allen Iverson, and trying to practice his moves and all the other athletes. And it kind of started there, and then that was the sport I actually became good at, minus all the other sports. And I found Dwayne Wade. He was quiet, and he kicked ass. Like, that was all he did as a young guy, and he was awesome. I just loved his game. And so from that point on in 2004, I decided that I was going to watch as many highlights as I could and practice to be good, not obviously dunking like him, but learn how to do some of that stuff. And for many years I did, and YouTube became a thing probably in 2008, 2009, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Became pretty popular, and his highlights would get posted after every game, and I'd go and I'd watch them, and then I'd go to the gym and practice some of the step backs and Euro steps and everything that he would do. And he helped me really love the game, love to get better and become pretty good. I feel like I got good mostly because of him, but I was always in the gym. And so I felt like if I was going to pick up a side PC, like, it better be somebody that means a lot to me. And he certainly does more than Fleury and anybody else, just because for his entire career, that was my athlete, So, anyways.
So did you collect Wade back then, or is this something new for you?
Right before COVID started, I picked up a few cards, but because what happened is I was still collecting A-Rod, and all these big inserts were popping up of people, and I had like a 101 from Illusions, I want to call it, or some other set. A few nice D-Wades, but they went for like 4 times what I paid for them. And I was like, well, I got to use these to get A-Rods, which in turn helped me get flurries. So now I'm kind of approaching it in a different way. I felt like I want to have one shelf dedicated to his cards in my display case, and I want them all to be like really shiny and also have photos that mean something to me. So that way, like Alan and you have mentioned, like, rather than just buying everything, like I tend to do with Fleury, try to have something meaningful with each card that you can talk about. So that's been the goal so far, and it's been really fun. It's been a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's kind of with my birds. I'm very picky about my Larry Bird collection, so it's just not everything and anything like salmon or a little bit Frank and Barry. My Larry Birds are pretty select. So I feel you there. I want to have a strong Larry Bird collection that's like means something. So that's very cool.
I'm not sure what it's like for Bird, but Alan, I'm experiencing what you are with Bonds autographs. There's been like 3 autographs that have popped up of D Wade. One about his All-Star game MVP. He's like holding the trophy and it's got the signature. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I watched that whole game. We had just won a game. I came home. He won the MVP. I was super stoked. And then another one where he's smiling with his first MVP and championship trophy. Like that's the one autograph I would like. And I'm sitting here like, that's going to go for a crazy amount. So Wade's autographs are like Bonds. They're like his nice inserts are really affordable, but his autographs are like way up here.
There.
And so is Bird the same way too? I mean, I have to imagine it is.
Well, it just depends on what birds, you know. There's some sticker stuff, some sticker autos that hit 140, 215, and then you get that nice on-card auto that goes for 405, 710, 1200.
That's
you know, yeah, you start getting in those flawless, you know, that range where it becomes 1200, 1500, 1700. But a lot of his stuff ranges between 150 and 500 just for the normal stuff. So if you wanted something really cool, you could probably pick it up for about $300-400, which is that's where I'm at right now, is looking at that kind of stuff, because I'm obviously not going to buy the $1,000 stuff. It's a little too pricey for me, but I don't want a sticker auto that's 150, you know. So somewhere in that middle range is where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I wonder what prices were like for your guys before the big COVID boom. Prices, they sound high. Oh, they were way lower. Okay, that makes
D Wade was cheap. Yeah,
so those Bonds, because I was like, you know, who's paying $1,700 for a D Wade Bonds or you know, Larry? And people are, right. So you see those finished sales all the time on eBay. So it is happening. I don't know who it is that's out there that's pushing prices. But you guys are speaking my language. The mail days that I've been having, I'm going to be releasing like one big mail day over the course of the next couple of weeks in little bits. But I think what it is a lot of those 90s inserts that just dazzle me. I have most of those ones where your jaw drops as soon as you open it up and you see it for the first time. And it's the light and you're like, oh my God, right? Because that happened to me. I bought a player that I didn't even remember buying, and it just came out, and it was an awesome insert that I already have of Bonds, but I got it because it's such a cool insert. And that was the most excited I got about any of the cards that I got on that mail day. That kind of explains why I've moved to autographs. And to get the wow autographs, they're not going to be $300. You know, the wow autographs, the ones that make you go wow, me go wow when I open it up, they're all going to be around $1,000 or more. So that's where I am right now. That's where I'm barely treading water right now in the hobby.
Yeah. I have 2 or 3 Larry Bird autos right now that I got in 2017 or 18 that are completely out of my range right now. And, you know, those cost me $350, and now they're easily over $1,000. I would never be able to buy those, but I have them now, thankfully. Which same thing happened with my Larry Bird Kaboom. You know, that PSA 10. I bought it for 100. I bought it for 120 in 2017, and I sold it for 3,200.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Is that what paid for everything behind you? I imagine it did.
Well,
right?
it helped a lot. You know, it actually, I started losing money on it because I had negotiated something for 5,000, and the guy never paid, and so I waited to give him time to pay, and you know, clock's ticking, and then I waited a little bit longer, and then I ended up selling it for 3,200. But I mean, 120. What are you gonna?
I mean, yeah. Don't look back at that. That's moving forward full speed.
Right. Right. So that kind of took off pretty quick during the COVID times. A lot of the Larry Bird stuff just went through the roof. Like I bought his rookie BVG 7.5. I bought for, I don't know, $350. And those things were at their peak were $2,500, $2,400, $2,100. Right. Which they're still, I think like right now it's 1,700-ish, maybe around. I haven't looked in a while, but That's what they're going for. So Bird really took off during all of that, and a lot of the basketball players did. And Bonds obviously caught heat. So it's just a different price range now.
But then you compare to your guys and your former guy Matt, Frank Thomas and A-Rod. How high do their highest end autographs go? I don't think they're thousands of dollars, right?
No,
just not.
Frank. I still have some Frank safe searches. I haven't bought a ton in a little bit, a few months, but his cool autos are not going for Bonds prices. You're looking in the 300 to 500 range maybe, but a lot of them are hitting 200-ish. So they're really not that crazy. And I think that goes to the fact that I think Bonds signed a lot less. So I think that plays a factor because Frank and Griffey are pretty generous with their signatures.
Right.
So I think that plays a little bit into it. So
for sure. I'm curious too, Alan, if you mentioned like those are the only things really giving you the wow feeling right now. Have you kind of reconsidered going because if those big, 4-digit or higher cards are the only ones that are going to bring the wow with Bonds,
right.
Have you started considering doing something similar to what Greg and I are doing with Bird and D Wade, or are you still knowing that if I'm going to spend any money on cards, like Bonds is it?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to branch out a couple of times. The easiest way to do it would be to pick my favorite set, which is 1998 Essential Credentials.
Of course, you picked that one.
My favorite players. I mean, give me some credit. I didn't move over to PMG when they became the dominant ones, or Star Ruby.
That's because you liked them too much, though. Let's be honest.
I really but I really did like I really didn't do like the 1998 Essential Credentials. It pops every time you walk by it. It pops. And I bought a lot of my favorite players on it, and I ended up getting rid of them one by one to fund Bonds. So that told me that I really probably just should stay with Bonds. And I think that's a good question about, right now for me, I'm just trying to catch let's see, what does it say here? Good Bonds are surprisingly hard to come by. Indeed. Yep. Still remember that one, Ben. It was a good story from the last episode where that's converted now to another extremely expensive nosebleed Bonds.
I like that description. I need to use that in a video in the future. The nosebleed. I'm going to add that to the other quote from last episode, 2 episodes ago.
You have the right to make the wrong decision.
I have that on my fridge. I am not kidding. I'm looking at it right now. That sticky note is on the fridge.
Title, but of the suggestions you gave, Matt, the one that I've been trying to tilt towards is going back to the low end Fleer Ultra. And so I have all of these, and I'm trying to catalog them. I have like a lifetime subscription to Beckett. It seems like it's actually just, but I just 2 years and then re-up for 2 years, and I went on that site once. So I've been trying to go through and log and find out what I all still need. But I don't even have time to open. I mean, I bought a huge, unreal lot of Bonds, and it's just sitting here. It's been here for weeks.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it, bro.
Monsters in here, right? Monsters, and I just haven't had the time to open them. So I haven't had time for the low end or the high end, to be honest.
You're saving them for a video, though, right?
Well, no, I've reduced it to a rush, right? That's the thing. You asked me, it's like, what is the hobby to me now? It's the occasional rush when you open a card. You're like, oh, yeah, that was the adrenaline rush. And then it's over and gone. Don't get to talk to you guys about it. We don't talk much cards. None of us have any time. I'm not on a group interacting with people. I'm not posting on Instagram. So all it's been reduced to now is the occasional, oh, yeah, that's the stuff. And then it's over.
It's going all sorts of places.
Yeah, you're sitting on the toilet with the door locked and you're looking at your baseball cards.
Oh, shoot.
That's where I am now, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that. When I got back, I had about 10 packages waiting for me, and I opened one that wasn't even baseball card related, and the next, I think 2 days later, I opened the rest of the 10 packages. But when I did, I was kind of like, I'll get to it when I get to it. But when I did, I got the adrenaline rush. I got the spark, the fire, which I'm going to show you guys. I know I'm kind of breaking the story, but
Yeah,
I got this really cool inscription.
that's so sick, and I love that
Yeah.
design too, Greg. Look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah.
Too. I really like
So
it.
yeah, so I was on the beach and I saw this come up and I thought, well, if I'm not laying in the sand somewhere, then I could probably bid on this. And then I set my alarm and it went off and I won it. But what's really cool, just because Martina Hingis wrote that inscription right there. So to me, it's just something unique because we get those autographs and it's Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Dwayne Wade, Larry Bird, but she actually wrote so much on this one little card. It's pretty unique. So I kind of felt that I got that adrenaline rush from that card.
Mhm.
And it's been a minute since I've had a good adrenaline rush like that because I've had, just some random odds and ends, nothing really, just like a pop card. And I felt like that was the closest thing I've had to something in a little bit, especially going to the beach, so that was really nice to get.
Yeah, I always appreciate an inscription, but it just occurred to me as you were showing that card off. Two things. One is that's your actual handwriting, right? The autographs are practice. They're like something you memorize, so you have muscle memory. You do it over and over without even thinking about it. This one, you had to process the information and walk it out and be like, "Oh, I'm a badass. I won 5 of these. I'm that good," So that's one thing. It's very personalized. She spent a lot of time with that card. And the second thing is that grain or whatever filter they put on there to make it look vintage, it can be done well. So with Salmons and the 52 refractor, that wasn't done well in terms of the way they made the player look, but it can be done well too by the same company. We know what it looks like when it's done well. Beautiful.
Yeah. I Goodwin, I've not really messed with Goodwin that much. So when I saw this card, because I've got some Martina Hingis saved searches, that card, I had known of its existence, but I hadn't messed with a lot of Goodwin in the course of my collection history. And when I saw that card, it really did pop. The colors popped. Everything just kind of stood out for me. And then obviously the inscription on it really adds an extra flair. But they really did a good job with Goodwin. I went back and looked at some other stuff from other years just to see who else was in the prior sets. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of cool stuff in there. It's something that I just kind of shied away from, but I would not hesitate to get a Goodwin card in the future.
Upper Deck does a great job of set design. I mean, not all of them. We talked about that with Billy, but that Goodwin set seems like it's like the Allen and Ginter for Upper Deck, right? They get all these random people and things and animals and all this stuff in there. They used to, at least.
Yeah.
And that kind of vintage design is great. Marc Andre's only got one card from any of their Goodwin sets, and it's so cool. It's like a sunset background with a gold border. I'm like, I eat this stuff up, man. So that's cool. Hopefully she makes some future sets or some other athletes that you liked growing up, because I know they put a lot of people from other sports in there.
Dude, they put everything in it. There's a Stephen King inscription, and it says they all float. They all, and so
I'm not putting that card in my collection. That's bad juju, man. You can have all those.
That was just something, it's so cool to have that kind of stuff in a set, just to have some random pop culture icons, Tony Hawk, it's really cool to see all that in a set.
Yeah.
I did want to just say that there was an adrenaline rush that I got. See how awesome that looks? Isn't that amazing? This is never mind. It's still not here. It was stuck. It was stuck in customs for like a week, and it was supposed to be here like 2 days ago, but it's going to get here tomorrow finally. So I can save that. I had to grab this just to say like I got a fun one coming, but this you can show this one. This was a fun one, and I'll do a video later. But that was an adrenaline rush card for sure. The Thanos card. Hopefully my webcam will eventually grab. There it is. Yeah, dude, sick. I've got a cool video planned for it too, but I just like it's so dumb or whatever or gimmicky that it's awesome.
I know.
And fun thing, if you look at the Blackhawks logo, all those colors are in the diamonds down there for the most part. So that's
so he wore each one of those in his ears, right?
Known as belly button ring, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess Billy was saying they did a set like that for a Marvel set. It wasn't called Band of Color; it was called something else. And so they're like, why don't we just try it for hockey? All right, and they've done well. They were super overpriced when they first came out, so I'm glad that the Fleury came out probably a month after release. And the guy on Facebook, he posted that he had it. I knew what price I wanted to pay, and he's like, all right, sounds good. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
I love when that happens because, I've been sitting there waiting for a month. I'm like, oh, gosh, if this thing comes up now, it's going to be like $700. I'm out. But that is the only one I've seen. There's never been one on eBay. There's 20 other copies out there and never seen one. So
give it to your deck, right? They take chances. I still think they make the prettiest cards in the game right now. I continue to believe that. But when they make a mistake, it's a spectacular failure. Like, I guess that's what happens when you take a chance, right? Because in 9-10 SP Authentic, they were promising 3 autographs per box, but instead of putting hockey player, they put ice dancer autographs as one of the 3. As people were breaking the boxes, they would get so visibly pissed on camera because, like, that's the opposite of hockey. Yes, it's on ice. You not be more ice dancers, not even like figure skating necessarily. Right?
Yeah, that's probably a low point in that product's release. Besides this year, where you're paying $500 or $400 American, you're getting 2 autographs, and you pull 2 guys that sell for $5 each. That's just not how it's done. So they've redone the format, and thankfully, it's going to be better.
Imagine pulling Cinderella on Ice Capades.
What about Cinderella Prince Charming dual auto? Like, come on now. Right?
Yeah. Now we're talking big money.
And the one thing we didn't cover, and I can't believe we haven't covered, maybe it's just because it's a hot button issue or a third rail, but the Upper Deck attempts at sort of reviving PMG for now were was that what we were looking at? Is that Upper Deck that did that? They're of sort of questionable visual appeal at this point, but they took a chance, and I think they crashed and burned spectacularly. But
based upon design, you mean?
No, based upon the pictures they used, I guess.
Oh, I got you. Okay, because the cards, those cards sell spectacularly high, if that's a gauge at all. But they don't. But the one-on-ones are the ones that look good. If you guys have seen the gold one-on-ones from hockey that shine really nice, those look good, but that shine is not on the greens and the reds, and I think that's where they dropped the ball.
The way you're talking about, like LeBron James in his
I'm talking about the hockey release.
Oh no,
we're talking about Flair Metal.
Okay. Well, both of them are called Flair Metal. The one you're talking about is the one that Gene
the Champions.
Oh, all right. You guys talk about that because I barely looked at it.
That
look terrible.
I've seen a couple. Yeah.
Griffey is what they had the Griffey picture of. He's like a 65-year-old man, and he's like got like a sweater on. and sure, the prices are gonna sell right now. But I guarantee in 3 months those are plummeting. They're plummeting. Yeah. That is not a good. Those are not good cards. I don't know what happened on that one. I feel like something got lost in translation, but those crashed and burned
really bad. It's basically like LeBron dunking in his exercise shorts at his little gym. You know what I mean? It looked like a commercial. I was less than unimpressed by those. Disappointed, but hopefully we can revive those like properly.
Just forget about those and focus on the hockey release. The hockey did the PMGs exactly like they did in the past. They did them out of 100. The first 90 are reds, the last 10 are greens, and then they created a 101 version, which are spectacularly amazing. I could use many adjectives to describe them. I will say, though, trying to keep positive, like the Chloe Kim and the athletes that are like Olympians and their snow gear or whatever, those look great. Tiger Woods looks fine, but I think they should have left Gretzky and Griffey and LeBron and all those people out because the photography is everything, and it does not look good. That's all I'm gonna say.
It looks like they literally took a picture yesterday of whatever they were wearing on the street, and that was it. That was the picture.
Yeah.
It's so
yeah.
bad.
Not a
Oh.
good look.
Yeah.
And it's tough
And
because go ahead, Greg.
and the boxes are like $1,100.
Insane. The thing is like, okay, the PMGs with like Spider-Man and stuff, they're never supposed to be worth what they were going for. But I like Spider-Man. I would want that card. You know what I mean? Like if that card were $50, I would totally buy that card. It appeals to me visually, but then you have the same prices for a card like that.
Right.
Should we say hello to some of the guys who are here?
Jeff.
Jeff and how's it going? Thanks for being here with us.
Red Wings.
We're Indigenous rookie cards.
Name is here. Yep. Hopefully still here. I know he's been wrangling kids lately, having to keep track of all of them.
And then vintage cards, Steve.
What's up? What's up?
Did you guys see Eddie? He won the $25 gift card from us.
That was cool that he did the video about what he got with the car, and he go ahead, Greg. Tell him about it.
So our contest winner, Eddie's cardboard, he won the $25, and then he just did his video about the $25 gift card and what he bought. And he bought a Frank Thomas, which was the Dufex 95 Pinnacle. He bought a Flurry, which was, I guess he was sharpening his ice skates or something.
He's actually bending his stick. I didn't get a chance to comment because I can't at work, but it's a machine that heats up the wood so you can warp it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he bought a Bonds for you, Alan, to show off. It was very cool. Very cool.
I didn't see that. I got to go check it out.
Yeah. It was, I think it was a black diamond. I don't know which specifically it was, but he obviously made his $25 stretch and he got 3 cards. So that was pretty cool.
Some good players there.
Yeah. It was awesome. And I will say, to give him a shout out, the night that the walk-off home run, Cal Raleigh comes up on a 2-2 slider almost in the dirt and yanks it into the freaking restaurant window to send the Mariners to the playoffs. He went live and he was tearing up. And I'm like, I'm not there because I've just reserved the fact that we're just going to suck forever. But it was awesome to see him, be live and displaying that emotion because he's, a little bit older than we are. And he's been through a lot of years of pain. I mean, we won 116 games and still didn't make it to the World Series. I mean, and we're not going to this year, I don't think. I want us to, but it was pretty cool to see. So yeah, he's a good dude, and I was happy to see that video that he posted.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I thought that was really cool to see just something, attributed to us, our 3 people.
I want to bring this up to you guys, and we can discuss this live real quick. We got 7 responses.
Yeah, something like that. 7 or 8.
I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm surprised we didn't get more because it was a pretty specific video that took some thought and whatnot. I mean, were any of you also curious why more people didn't go after? Come on, it was $25 to eBay. I would have been all over that.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, what do you think on that?
I think it just, I don't know. A lot of people don't make videos, so I think just staying in the shadows. I think people just like to watch and observe, and making a video really makes you vulnerable. It makes you anxious, nervous, because now you're presenting yourself, you're on camera, you got to talk about something, or you got to flip it around, show your cards, but you're still talking. You still are presenting yourself in a vulnerable state. So I think a lot of people probably don't do that and like to remain anonymous or just watch and talk, through text. So I think that was probably a big part.
Right. Wow, I didn't have an answer. That pretty much nails it. That sounds right. There's a lot of introverts in our hobby for sure, because it's a hobby that can be isolating if you want it to be. You can have a room by yourself and enjoy your cards. But even the most introverted folks, I feel like, in the hobby sort of branch out in the ways that they can. And I do remember when I first came on this show, I was nervous, like it's not a natural thing to go on. I mean, not to insult the podcast, but how many subscribers were there at the time? Like 75?
Yeah, not many. Not
Right.
many.
And how many of those people were even watching? Nobody, but still, just the knowing that you're on camera and that you're putting yourself out there to the world is right, is a huge step. I think that a lot of people would not ever take.
You don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about. You don't want to be put on the spot about talking about something that you don't know about. I think especially live. Live is a lot different than, because you can go back and edit your video 12,000 times. If you're not happy with it, you can redo it. You can voice it over, whatever you need to do. But live, you're put on the spot. You just got to you're here in the moment. You can't pause. You can't freak out. You just you can stutter a little bit, I guess, but you can't do anything else.
It definitely helps you get more comfortable with just being on camera in general, when you're on live, because you gotta step up and when the moment is ready for you. But I will say the cool part about opposite of people doing videos, we've met a lot of new collectors, seen some new channels. That's been one of the cooler things that's come from this, is not just, obviously videos, but just people interacting with us for the first time. A few son and dad channels. Those have been my favorite. So big shout out to you, Greg. You've done a good job of branching out and helped me, meet some new people. And I've been really enjoying their videos for sure.
Yeah. It's nice I feel like we have a interweaving system going on where, our channels are kind of connected to other channels, and they talk about us, we talk about them. So there's this just network of podcasts going on. That's really cool, because it just seems to grow and grow, the more, but it's really based on your proactivity. So if you go out and make the connections with 3 or 4 guys, and then they talk about you, and then 3 or 4 guys come to you, and then so on and so on and so on. It just, the more you give, the more you get, I think, is the key to it all.
Right. And just putting the time aside to do that, because it definitely takes that, but I'm glad that we're focusing on that a little bit more and branching out. It's been fun.
I don't understand what this is. Can you guys hook up your channels in chat?
Does he mean like the link to our YouTube maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Because we all have, we don't have our own YouTubes anymore. We all do it here.
Your channel in chat. You're going to have to elaborate on that one. I don't really know what that means. Ben brought up, he's asking about grading. I picked up a couple big raw inserts. They look good, but when do you decide to send them in to get graded?
Oh man, for somebody who's never graded before, I got a lot of opinions about this. I actually signed up for CSG. It cost $130, and apparently most of that can go towards grading, towards your first submission. But it has to be a bulk submission. First it was $50, and it was $25, and I had it for an entire year. Never ended up submitting a single card, and I had 2 weeks left to do it, the end of last month. And I was thinking, should I send in 25 cards that are just, I never plan to sell, because I don't think CSG is going to add any sell value to it right now. It's just, I want it to be cards that are shiny, that I want to look at a lot, because CSG has the cleanest plastic of all plastic. So whatever cards I picked, they had to be lower end, and they had to be beautiful to the eye. And I was like, should I do this? Or, because that was, I think, $14, $15 a card. And that's without a protective soft sleeve inside. Or you can go to PSA, get the same thing done for $18 at one point, and now $22 in bulk. And so 14 against 22, I was like, should I throw in good money after bad? Or should I just pull the plug on CSG, sign up for PSA, and send in bulk when I can? And Ben, to answer your question, that's what I've decided to do. I'm obviously big talker because I haven't actually sent a card in yet. But the plan is to send it in. I paid the fee now for PSA. I'm an official member, but I don't know the first thing about getting cards ready to grade, honestly. And I'm terrified because a lot of these cards are extremely valuable, sort of sitting there in top loaders, which isn't enough protection for me. Like some of these cards, they need a hard surface to protect them. And so I want to go that route. It's just a matter of It's just a matter of doing it. So I would say, yeah, go ahead. The prices are never, they've never been this low.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah. So I was just gonna say, Ben, I've got a story. In 2019, we went to the National, and Alan got his cards graded, and he wasn't happy with the case that they ended up in. And I've been hounding him for 3 years now to get his cards regraded and recased, and he's still working. He finally just got the last 2 months or so, 3 months. He finally got them recased, the ones that had the issues.
Right.
But I have the biggest problem about I'm so afraid that the cards that I worked so hard to get will disappear into the mail and I'll never see them again. I know it's probably irrational, but I'm an irrational kind of guy. And so usually I will probably freak out and something will happen in my mind, perceived or not. It's easier, I've got some stuff here. I've got this ready to go. I'm going to grade this, but this means nothing to me. This card means nothing to me. So it's easy for me to grade it, but I've got some stuff in here that I would have to hand deliver to PSA and watch them look at it and then taste it and give it back to me in order for me to grade my stuff, because I'm just deathly afraid. I would love to have them permanently encased and safe, but I also want to look at the card. I want to be able to take it out. That happens to me too. I want to look at stuff. So I'm just in this weird boat of, I want to have a 10, but I also want to look at the physical card. And I don't want anything bad to happen to the card while it's not in my possession, because then I'm just going to kick myself for the rest of my life.
Dude, it would be impossible to let something like that go, a regret like that go. There's a difference between missing out on a card you really wanted and that happening. You work your tail off to finally track down a card that you've been wanting forever. Not that I would grade this, but you send it in and then your box comes back empty. Yeah. I saw a post on Instagram the other day. A guy sent in 4 of his best cards and it came back from PSA. Box was open, nothing was in it. I'm like, no. I'll just keep it raw. Thanks. Seriously.
It's the easy of it. I agree. I'm sorry. I was just saying, I have a Willie Mays, Barry Bonds autograph card that is just sitting there in a top loader. I need to get it protected, but I don't want to mail it, because my worst nightmare would be to lose that. That would be just the worst. So I don't know. Should I take it to the National next year? That's why I was getting lower end cards ready, ones that are pretty, ones that I would want to look at, but which I don't think are going to be worth a lot of money. They just look awesome. So this is what I was considering sending into CSG. And then now I'm considering sending this into tag grading, but they only do regular cards that are this thin from the year 2000 on. No autographs, no memorabilia, no thicker cards.
They are going to do it. I'm glad you brought them up, because I literally have their website in front of me here, and I've never considered grading seriously, and I think I'm going to send my Young Guns Flurry to them, because the cases look incredible. That's always been my thing. No offense to PSA. I know they resell amazingly well. I don't like the way they look at all. It's very old school looking, which is fine, but I think these guys have the best looking case out of everybody, especially with it being see-through at the top and the way that they grade. I'm definitely gonna have to give them a try. So I'm just worried though, that Fleury Young Gun is in such good condition, and it's just
I mean, CSG has the clearest plastic, but from what I've heard from Tag itself, they have the clearest plastic. So even clearer. So you said it's beautiful to look at, huh? I don't even know what the slab even looks like, to be honest.
I'm sorry that I have a vertical screen here. I don't know if that's going to be okay at all, Greg. Nope. Hey. That's okay. Does this? Let's see if I can. There we go. It's not going to be any better, but I think it's the best looking slab that I've seen. Just especially with how it's see-through at the top up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm tempted to give them a serious try, but then like Alan's saying, do I send in something not Fleury's Young Gun, my only one? Do I send in like a mid-tier rookie or like SB Game Use or something, and a more replaceable card? Do I try that? And if I like it, then I send in the nicer card. So I don't know.
I'll probably mess with tag at least just to see what it's like, because that sounds like a cool system. Their slab doesn't look half bad to me, so I'm not opposed to it. The thing is, I don't really grade, so I'm more of just a raw. It's cool if I get it graded, sure, but I just don't do much grading personally.
Because you and I wouldn't grade to resell, and not that that's what the main part of grading is. I think more often than not, I see that still on Instagram. Oh, sweet pull, nice Kaprizov auto. You should grade it. Like, oh, okay, is that what we're doing now? Because for me, I'd just like Alan, I'd just want it in a cool case and maybe like seal its value in essence, especially if tag ends up becoming, one of the top 3 or top 2. So I could see it surpassing Beckett if the way they grade and they start doing thicker cards and all that stuff. I could see them surpassing Beckett, but PSA, that's a tough hill to climb.
Yeah, I think that's going to take some time to put a hurt on PSA, but everything comes and goes in waves. So whether PSA lasts forever or somebody else takes over, it's worth a shot. Somebody's got to try to take the king on. You can't be the king forever.
Well, if we all send in something to tag, I would be curious to see what our experience is, because you just did you did a video a little bit ago, Greg, with the eBay authentication system, and that card that I showed you guys, even though I didn't even pay triple digits for it, it's coming that way. So I'm really curious to experience this, I guess, for the first time. But with tag, I would think it would be really fun for us to all send in something and just kind of share our thoughts on it, because I think what they have looks really good on paper, and I have to see a slab in person. And I think the best way to do that is just to send a card to them. So deciding which card it's going to be, though, I want it to be my Young Guns, but I'm like, oh gosh, how do I package it? What if something happens? Like, are they going to pay for a new one? Like, so yeah.
They have some fascinating technology. I don't know if you guys watched any of their showcase videos on Jeremy's channel, but one of the things that they do is they make it look like a negative, so you can see the surface. Every tiny little micro scratch is just like super, super obvious. And I almost shudder for somebody who's as OCD as I am. Tag is going to find things on my card that I never knew was there, and
I don't know about that.
Never wanted to know was there. You know what I mean? So
I don't know about that. You're pretty good, dude. You are the most efficient of the 3 of us at finding anything on the card. It's impressive.
And the thing is, it's computer grading, right? So there's no human even screens it. So it's not like a computer grades it and then a human has the final decision about whether it was a good job. That's it. Once it's done, and supposedly it never changes. So that's supposed to be what grading was all about in the first place. You're not supposed to be able to shop and send a card in 6 times to try to get the grade you want, and that's the purpose a little bit.
No, I agree with that. It's like doctor shopping. You go out to try to find somebody who agrees with you and gives you what you want. So that does defeat the purpose. It kind of muddies the water a little bit. Hope there's a better way.
I think they're going to have the most efficient way of grading cards. I mean, to be as precise as possible. I mean, Alan, I felt like that's something that appeals to your side of collecting, to get that card back and to know wholeheartedly that the grade is right on the money, or confirm what like if you did a video and you're looking at like, okay, I see a little tiny thing here and a little tiny, this is going to be a 9 or whatever. That'd be really cool to see. So
just consistency, I think, is what everybody wants.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the one thing I will say is, Ben, and take it easy, Steve, you said you had to head out, but they mentioned the Maze Bonds autograph, the passing the torch. Yeah, I think maybe I should just keep it on my person and bring it to the National.
Bring it to the National, because I'm thinking of like my number 1 card, or like Fleury's Future Watch. I think is gone off. I'm only grading that if I take it in hand it to them and know I'm leaving with it. I know where it's
Right.
going to be. I know where it's safe. And if it does get stolen, that means everyone else's cards got stolen and they're liable, not me. You know,
Yeah.
so I would only ever do that. And even then, I'm afraid I'll have to have it shipped to me. You know,
Yeah,
so
I don't know. It's so hard. That's such a hurdle. For me personally, it's such a hurdle because I care so much about my cards, and once they're in my possession, I worry about them so much until they get here, and then I can sleep easily knowing where they're at. But to willingly send it off, it's such a hurdle for me, especially the ones that mean something.
it's too much. It's too much of a stressor, man. Like I wouldn't be able to relax. You know, there's people that are like, I haven't seen these cards in over a year. I'm just like, dude, that would suck.
Yeah.
Because you know, there's times when Greg, you're looking down and there's your cases, right? And you're like, oh, I want to look at this Tim Salmon card or Frank or whatever. PMG. Oh, never mind, it's not there. You know, like that's. Yeah.
I've got about 5 comic books right now that are at CGC, and they've been there for 4 months, 5 months, and I have to like look at a list to remember what I actually sent because I don't even remember anymore. It's they're gone, and thankfully it's nothing that's gonna freak me out, but it's so long that you could forget about it. You could move, anything could happen. It's. A lot of people don't stay in the same place in 6 months, a year. You move somewhere else, and then how are you going to get your books?
Yeah, that's a whole other issue for sure.
Well, I have horrible memory. So it's a gift and a curse. But like I have half of my collection in soft sleeves, ready to send out to a grader. I don't ever look at them because they're in a separate box and I forget that they exist. And so when I look through them, I'm like, oh my God, I had this card. Oh my God, I had that card. Like, I can't believe that if I ran in a fire and grabbed my suitcases, that I would just leave basically half my collection in the semi-rigid in a cardboard box on the dresser. Half of my collection is they are sick cards. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I had this. That's amazing, Yeah. So that's the curse part of it. The gift is that when I open a mail day that's been sitting there for a month or two, I literally have no idea what's going to come out of those packs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a surprise. So.
Yeah. Well, that would be awesome for movie purposes. To be able to watch.
That's true.
Like, I totally forgot about it. I forgot everything.
The dude, who's that? Oh yeah, right, that guy.
Yeah, that's why my favorite movies. I watch them once and I never watch them again for like 7 years, and then go back and watch it again. And I have no idea what's going on. I figure it all out. Great.
I think we should, Greg. I think we need to live our lives like Alan for a month and see how far we make it. Because I could not have like that card that's coming tomorrow just sit on my desk for a month. I'd be like, like I need to open it.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. It's hard. You have to have like something else going on. You have to be living busy, work, something. You can't be at home because it's just you pass the room and you see the package sitting on the desk. You try not to look at it, but you can see it. It's looking at you. You're looking at it.
It's impossible, man. I live a different life than both of you guys. So it's a little bit easier for me for sure. But when I'm gone on vacations, it's fun to come back and there's 5 or 6 or 10 things waiting, and those like Greg, coming back. It's like I can't remember what card is from who, so let's just go through and be excited as things are coming out. Like getting a Glass-Now refractor out of nowhere, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So.
It actually reminds me a little bit of a topic that we were hoping to cover, I think, a little bit more broadly today. But I think I posed a question to you guys in one of our private chats. When do you think like your collecting sort of verges into sort of an unhealthy thing? When does it go from a sort of a positive thing to a negative thing? And for me, like obviously I asked that question and it was clear that what I was thinking about was how much a lot of these recent bonds are costing. They're putting a lot of pressure on me. I don't really like having to make like life and death decisions about cards that are that expensive as they come out, but they're also cards that I have lusted after for quite some time as well. So then what do? You sit there and do you just go for that one adrenaline rush? At what point does it become sort of something that you should take a break from, step away from, as it's not as good for you as it was when things are going well.
Well, what sucks about those situations is you don't know when you're going to come across them again. You don't know when a Bonds auto or insert or refract, whatever it is, you don't know when it's going to come across again. So it feels to me like every card that pops up is the last card that exists on Earth.
That's a good. Can I write that down too? That's pretty. I'm writing that down. That's good.
No, it's just not, right? Every card.
It's not. I can't tell you how many times, I've seen the same card pop up in 2 weeks, 6 months, whatever, and it goes for a little less, it goes for a little more, but there's more. There's more out there. You get caught up in the moment where you're like, I've got to buy the card. It's right here. I'll never see it again. And then, obviously it's in your head, but that's where you get caught up because, you're paying the prices that you're paying for Bonds and you want to be a part of it. You want to get a hold of it before it becomes too expensive, but you also think you're never going to see it again. And
got it. That's a good one.
You have to press the button.
Yeah, that's so insightful. You basically just dug straight into my brain. And, I mean, that's part of it. It's totally psychological. Almost all these cards, they appear again and again. The thing is like the Mirror Gold Bonds has never appeared again, and to anybody's knowledge, has never appeared but one time in something like 20 years. So, but there's 29 other of them out there, and I swear there's going to be a day when there's going to be like 2 or 3 on eBay at the same time. It's just going to change your entire view of the card and the part that it plays in your collection. It would for me, at least.
Yeah.
I will say, go, Greg.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I don't remember what I was going to say, but no, there's a guy who, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Jeremy's been picking up some really nice A-Rods since I got out of A-Rod, or right before. This one guy has listed like Mirror Gold Griffies and all these extremely rare A-Rods, and he's been selling since right before I got out of A-Rods. What's that? A year and a half ago? He's consistently been selling those types of cards, and he's listed like 4 Mirror Gold A-Rods. I mean, like a Perfect 10 A-Rod, multiple essential credentials from all the different years. I mean, like he's listed everything from mostly A-Rod and a little bit of Griffey and Buhner and Edgar. Everything of the big top tier. There has to be a guy that has that of Bonds, and he is going to pop on eBay and he's going to go, you've got to be bleeping me. I can't believe what these are going for. And it's just going to slowly trickle out. And all of this stuff was SGC graded too, which was bizarre to see like a 97 essential credentials out of 99 of A-Rod in an SGC slab. Like what? It was bizarre, man. It really was. But I mean, he's made, hundreds of thousands of dollars selling those high ones on eBay. So when you were saying that, I'm like, there's got to be a couple dudes just like sitting on that kind of stuff of Bonds. Yeah. That it just, that just came to mind as I was thinking. Jeremy, every now and then he'll message us and he'll be like, hey, look what this dude posted again. It's like, oh my gosh, he just still has it. He's just slowly selling like a third of every nice A-Rod out there,
There was a guy on eBay selling Barry Sanders select certified Mirror Golds. And I felt like every couple of months he put out 1 or 2. And I was just thinking, how many does this guy have? He had literally 10 that he sold over the course of a year, maybe 2 years. I can't think of his name right now, but I talked to Rodney about him and he knew him. He knew who it was. And that goes back to, that kind of answers one of, I think, Nate's question about where are all the cards? I think there's some hoarders. I think there's some hoarders, and I think they're in collections. And once the price reaches their selling point, then you're gonna see it on eBay. But I also agree with Alan about we haven't seen a Mirror Gold Bonds, so that creates the mysterious element of where are these cards, and you don't really get to see them. So once you see them popping up on eBay, then you're like, oh, there's one right there. I don't need to buy right now. I'll get it another day.
Nope. That happened with the 1998 PMG Barry Bonds. People had seen, across everyone I knew in the hobby, people had seen maybe 2 copies. in decades. And then it hit that line that you're talking about, Greg. And I've seen 14 or 15 of them. 15 Bonds PMGs come up in the past 8 months. You know what I mean?
The garage sale one, remember?
Yeah.
That was just completely
People are
crazy.
just buying them at garage sales, and
They're everywhere.
I know a guy who had 2, had the option of buying 3 more, so they're everywhere. I mean, it's not a lot, and it is a lot, you know what I mean? So if out of 50, you're gonna have another shot at getting that card. And as I say that outside one side of my mouth, the Mays Bonds auto is out of 50, right? But I can't. It's different. Like I sent my 98 PMG, my 99 PMG, my Super Rave out of 25, and I was kind of like, those are super expensive cards, but I was light as a feather because they're. I think maybe I see them. There's this answer to Ben's question. Maybe I see them a little bit more like assets than I do cards that I really must have, because I hang on to the Bonds Mays autograph way more. Like I really don't want to put that card in the mail. Like I just almost cannot bring myself to do it. And it didn't have that problem with 4 or 5 of my most valuable cards where I was just like, okay, let's go get these in slabs. It's time, I think that says something that maybe I didn't even realize about myself and my own cards. So
just self-discovery is just happening over and over, man. I love it. That's honestly, to answer the question, the first thing that popped in my mind, how you phrased it, Alan, when does it become, you say too much, right? Mm. It's when I start stressing about money. That's when it becomes too much. If I can do this casually, and when a $200 flurry pops up, that's on my most wanted top 10, and I just can click it without even thinking about it, that's when I know I'm in a good space. But when money becomes a stressful situation, I think that's when it becomes unhealthy. So, yeah, well, I mean, pretty simple for me.
I'm going to approach it from a different standpoint, and that's from a relationship standpoint. And that's when you're like, hold on, and you hear, are you on eBay again?
Again, yep.
You're like, I haven't looked at the saved searches in 12 minutes. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, geez. Honestly, the reason I do what I do right now is because I know when I'm in your guys' position, I will not be able to approach collecting like this probably ever again. So, I'm enjoying it out less.
Why have you pooped 7 times today? You're like, I'm pooping.
True. You can only pretend to listen for so long. I'm terrible at multitasking, so I can only bury myself into one thing and do it well. I'm too intense, and that's why I don't live on eBay. I don't know most of the Bonds cards that are coming up, I'll be honest. I could be out there scouring Golden and all these PWCC. I haven't even logged onto the site to look at what kind of Bonds cards are there. It's mostly just people coming up, striking up conversations with me, being like, hey, did you see that card on eBay? I was like, no, I had no idea that was on eBay. Let me go look at that. Oh, crap. I must have that. Like I didn't even know it was on eBay, but now it's the card I needed to have all along. And and you're right. That's out of balance. And the money is too. I think you're right, Matt. I don't feel comfortable buying $1,000 cards. The only types of cards I'm buying now are basically $1,000 cards over and over and over again. And it's not a comfortable place for me. Hundreds of dollars, sure, but $1,000 at a time is too much.
Yeah, because it adds up. It adds up so quick. You think if I just buy this, I'll be good, and then the next gotta have card pops up, and you're like, well, if I just get this, then I'll really be okay.
Well, just like you said, it's the last time it's going to show up, dude. You got to buy it.
That's the last time.
Oh man, it's fun to have like the Glass Now PC because it's cheap, but it's fun. Because I showed you guys that X Factor. I mean, that was like a $2.50 card, but they look amazing. It's like I got to have that kind of stuff to keep it fun. Because if I get to a point, and this isn't a bad thing, Alan, but get to a point where $1,000 flurries are the only thing I have left to get, then I'm probably going to lose the love for the hobby. Because that's unreasonable. I teach. I don't, work in politics or some other thing where you get paid a bunch of money. So, yeah, never going to happen.
That's a big reason why I went for salmon at the beginning. You know, I was looking at Frank's stuff and I thought, man, this is kind of high. I don't know. I'm not really into it like that. I want to get something that's a little cheaper that I can still enjoy. And that's why I went for Salmon. You know, Salmon's not my favorite player, but he was one of my favorites as a kid, and he was 10 times cheaper than Frank Thomas. And that was a big reason why I went down that rabbit hole. And, you know, I think that it showed that, you know, I couldn't stay away from Frank through the course of it all as I got more into the hobby and I started to appreciate what all these cards really meant and how hard they were to get. And just seeing the love of everybody's players, you know, it got me back to where it starts, and that's Frank Thomas. But I'm never going to like not appreciate my Salmon cards for what they are. That's why I started it initially, is because of the price. And as you get more into it, you gain more knowledge and you're willing to put more money into it. But at the time I wasn't, because I just wanted to relive my childhood a little bit and get some of the cool stuff that I never had.
For sure. Well, Alan, I have to say that I hope you continue to go down the ultra road, because I've always said that I hope that would like reinvigorate your love of not having to have a $1,000 card to get the adrenaline pumping, whereas like you're completing like a master set and having put the Young Guns set together, getting in Joe Schmo, the goalie who played 2 games in the NHL, was just as exciting as getting in a Henrik Lundqvist Young Guns. You know, it was awesome to like know I was getting toward the set being done. So
you know, the precursor to Goodwin may have been Champs in hockey, and I collected Champs. I tried to put the 0809 set together, and I enjoy set collecting. Set collecting is actually a lot of fun, but that was when I didn't have a player in that sport that I am obsessed about. It's different here. I just don't have the same, like we talked about briefly. I tried collecting one set, and it didn't work out because I wanted Bonds cards instead. But then
they turned around though, right? Didn't those cards turn into like way better Bonds cards than the actual?
Yeah, but but so did Bonds cards, right? Everything just went up at the same time. So there's this one sage thing that Greg had said maybe 2 years ago, right at the outset of COVID, which is that as card prices go up, you really have to trade cards for cards at that point, or sell a card to buy a card, because then it's monopoly money, right? Because you spent $300 on it, now you're selling it for $3,800. That's great, but the card you're buying for $3,800 was $300 back when you were the other card, you know? So it's like almost, you know.
But you also, your trade bait sometimes acts as a key that unlocks a door that money cannot unlock.
Yep. That's the other way. You would have never got it without having the card to trade for it, having spent it back then. So
that is true.
You know,
that was
the glass half full, Alan.
Yeah. Well, you guys remind me.
But no, that's interesting. I don't know, man. Greg, can you imagine getting to a point with a player where you're only having to, you know, $1,000 cards is it? That's a tough spot, man.
Yeah, I've been living that life with Salmon.
Dude, excuse me. If a Salmon card comes up that's legit worth $1,000, we got to help you get it, because that's I don't even know what card that would be. I don't even know what card that would be.
It's got his DNA on it, I guess. I don't know.
A hair card or something, yeah.
The key to cloning him.
Yeah. Unbelievable, man. You guys want to show off a few cards before this goes in the wrong direction? show off a few, because you know Greg was enjoying some sunshine. Are you darker, by the way? Did you get a nice tan, like a sunglasses tan or anything?
I feel darker. Do I look it?
Yeah, you got
your lighting. Your lighting is illuminating your face so well. I can't tell.
You know, I'm Greek. I've got this olive skin complexion, so I have just a natural beauty. So.
Okay. Good for you, man. Lucky for. Can we have some of that? Can I have some of that? Burn instantly. Yeah, but you were gone for a bit. I'd like to see some of the cards that we've got in. It'd be fun to kind of show people the variety that we're all collecting. Alan is obviously not going to show everything, right? Because you've got some cool videos planned for us.
But I got cool stuff here. Yeah,
cool.
I'll kick it off. So I picked up from a very old Bonds collector. He like only operates through email, and it's like really hard to get a hold of him, but then he'll just give you a phone number and then just call you and then talk to you for like an hour at a time. Not necessarily cards, you know, like I bought some stamps from him, like actual postage stamps, forever stamps for like price. Move these and price. So we did it, you know, and he's older, so he sent me some. This is a random autograph that I did not order. You know what I mean? Like I asked for a different autograph, and he sent me some other autograph, and I was just
That's
like,
awesome.
the wrong one. And he's like, oh, I think I mailed yours to somebody else. Why don't you just return it? But you know me, I'm already at the phase where I'm just like, I don't have time for that. So I just hung on to it. It's a cool card, right? It's SP.
Yeah. Oh, I love that card.
Love the dual photos too, man. Like
Yeah.
again, that's not something we get to experience on cards nowadays. So very cool.
Yeah, I've got the Tony Gwynn of that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like landscape cards typically, but now that I'm a autograph collector, I don't know how the hell that happened. I landscape cards that I really enjoy. This is one of them. So
Yeah.
He's got such a good autograph too.
Yeah, he does. And those landscapes, horizontals, they house the autograph better. You know, there's more room for it. It's not got to be compact. I like that.
Again, I told you guys that I want to focus on D-Wade cards that just pop. You know what I mean? There's something special about the photo and or the design. I saw this of Kobe Bryant, and I'm like, I gotta get myself a version of this.
Nice.
This is definitely. I recorded a mail day video of this card with the sun shining right in, and it's spectacular. And he's got the nice finals logo on the jersey. This was the opening week when they kind of had their ring ceremony. So from their second championship. So anyway, this card is spectacular. And when I post my mail day video tomorrow, you'll be able to see what it's like with that natural light coming in. It's a stunning card.
beautiful.
I love Select. I've been a fan of them for a few years now. When I got back in 2017, I bought a box of basketball, and Select is just on point for me. It does it for me. So that's a really cool card.
The older stuff too, I was told to look at, maybe it was you, like the first couple of years of Select, 2 or 3 years, like as they got into, 16, 17 and on, that's when the plethora of parallels were out and they all kind of, got stale.
2013, I think, was their first year for that.
Yeah, and 13. This is 12, 13. Yep.
Yeah. And Salmon was actually in 2013. And I have the complete autograph rainbow, which is really cool.
Right. You have shown that off before. Yeah, I remember that. That's cool. Especially the one-on-one. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very cool. I don't have any cards out right now, so I'm not going to show anything else.
Okay. Are you? Do we have a mail day video coming soon too? Though I'm hoping.
Nope. I just opened I barely was in survival mode at that point, so I was just like opening stuff, and my Martina actually got me hyped up, but all the rest of them I kind of were just putting away silently.
You telling me that a Finest Flashbacks Black Refractor didn't get you fired up? Are you kidding me? Come on, man.
That actually surpassed the Martina.
Can you be honest? When you open that up, were you like, wait, what?
I immediately thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go through the process of sending this back to get the real card that I actually bought. But that wasn't the case.
What happened, Alan, is I bid on a Black Refractor Flashback of Glass now. They're out of 25. And then one popped up the next day, and I put in a really low ball offer, and the dude accepted it. And so here I am with the opening bid of 99. I think I bid like $2, 99 cents. And that's what it ended at. I'm like, oh, I'm sending this to Greg for sure. Because he showed off the gold. I'm like, well, he's got to see what a black looks like.
So yeah, I opened the package thinking I got the wrong card. And then I was like, well, what are the odds that I got Glass now? So I thought maybe somebody accidentally sent it to me instead of Matt. So I tracked the guy down, the seller.
Did you really?
Facebook. Yeah, I tracked him down on Facebook, and I said, hey, I think you sent this to me. And he was like, yeah, I sent it to you. And at that point, you had already messaged me, and I was like, I figured it out. Never mind.
Yeah. I had to mess with you somehow, dude. But I think that's what his best looking card in there besides the refractor, just because it goes really good with the dark blue, and he's doing really well. So I thought I better get a glass now in his collection. You know, instead of sending a bunch of base cards that are just randomly thrown into a bubble mailer, I wanted to send you like a nice one. Alan's like, what is going on right now? It's just
so Alan, when I bought that flurry for him at the Nashville Card Show, and I sent it to him, and I put a bunch of Frank Thomas and Blue Jay uniform cards, like base cards.
You guys mentioned that in the chat.
I mean, not even in penny sleeves. We're talking. I feel like he had it like open on his desk. And he just went like that, and like threw them in there. A bunch of like base cards. It was like this is too.
It was no White Sox uniform. It was all Blue Jay or Athletics.
I mean,
I was like, nah.
There's a young kid at the school whose mom teaches at the elementary school, and he's getting into collecting. I'm like, oh, he'll love these. He'll love these. So I got a big pile for him, including those. So I'll tell him that I have a friend that sent those specifically for him.
I don't do Thomas and Blue Jay and Athletics.
Glad Bonds didn't leave for like the Yankees and DH for 2.
I know that would have sucked.
So yeah,
would have sucked. What else you got there?
Okay. Well, you know, I've been trying to pick up cards that are like, I don't know. I really did love this card. This card really got me going. I did not think I would like this card that much. A lot of old school collectors who collected Bonds a long time have always had reverence for the black refractors. I just didn't understand it as a new collector. I didn't even understand what the big deal about refractors was when I first started. I was just like, you guys are crazy. It's all about the 1986 and 1987 rookie cards, guys. What are you doing? But now, 4 years in, you know, like I have some of the refractors that I must have, and I'm branching out to a new era. So this is beautiful. This retro look is gorgeous. I love it. This card is more of a. I've been trying to find this card graded at a high grade. They're very common, actually. There's 549 of them. So, but these cards are over $100. And 4 years ago, I bet you could get this card for like $8, right? Just because nobody cared. So it feels weird paying like $100 and some for this, but I thought it was really well centered, and I figured maybe I'll just grade one myself since I can't get one for the price I want. And my memory is so bad that I actually did win this card once. I think I told this story already, and they never sent it because they had already sold it to somebody else, and I had no idea. So if they had, there's a card that I bought on eBay that just never got sent. There's a high likelihood that I wouldn't even remember that it was supposed to be.
Actually, Alan, the other Topps one.
Yes.
I pulled that, not that, but the regular refractor. I pulled that out of a pack at Cracker Barrel.
Amazing.
A Barry Bonds?
Yeah, Barry Bonds refractor. I pulled that out of Cracker Barrel. I bought a pack, eating some breakfast, and it was in 2005, and I pulled that.
Wow.
You still have it?
No, I sold it.
Oh, dang it. I was going to say, man, that'd be
easy.
Awesome.
You guys have both pulled some incredible. You guys both pulled more incredible Bonds than I could ever.
I wish I had the auto that I pulled, and I wish he still had because we could totally help you out. But
yeah, we could.
I don't have either of those.
Greg, before I go, is that where are you on that card if it does show up? I mean, are you like, I'll pay what I have to get it at this point?
I mean, if it goes for that, there's something really wrong.
You should be happy about that.
That it should be a $200, $300 card. Right. So if it went for that, I would be upset that I'm in a bidding war.
You'd be upset, and then you'd hit buy.
Yeah,
probably.
Right.
I would, because it's the last card I'll ever see again.
That's right. That's right. Well, going off a funny eBay thing, this card has been en route for over a month, and it was lost for 3 weeks, and it randomly just popped up in Kent yesterday after being gone for all those 3 weeks off the grid. Put in a missing item search, but look what they brought back. This is kind of cool. Speaking of glass, now find us this. Hopefully it'll grab it. Come on, grab it. Do it. His hair is too spectacular. There it is. It's got a protector on it, but it's also a refractor.
Yeah, that's the special one.
Yep, and it's out of 10. So this was my chase card going into this product, and to have it. I mean, I was, again, like when you get a card lost, if it's out of 50, you're like, crap, get the refund and just wait for the next one to show up. I mean, I likely will maybe see one more. Dude, the red refractor popped up while I was teaching, and I got on, and the save search had the dot. I clicked it, card was gone, went to sold, and it was like $23 for the red. I was like, oh no.
Wow.
But anyway, I'm glad that this is here, and a few people have commented like, dude, they brought these back, but they did. And no, I'm not peeling it because what makes it unique is the peel, as opposed to if I peel it, it looks like the other refractor from the set. So
yeah, how crazy is it that they made the SP the factor on it, the protector?
yeah, right.
So crazy.
And of course, it is numbered out of 10 on the back, but you know, it's these are the types of cards that I get excited about. And just to springboard off that, Greg, you're a big Gypsy Queen fan. Have you seen the reds this year and how they're different? They've got like a foil finish. It's going to be really hard to capture on camera, but they've got like a slight rainbow foil finish to the reds out of 10 this year, which are really cool.
Real quick, who needs to tell Alan that he's on mute?
Oh, I haven't seen anything, so it's a good thing. I hadn't said anything worthwhile in the last 3 minutes.
Greg, that was a very subtle way. I like that.
But yes, I thought that was a cool card. So.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell you're enraptured by it. Oh man! Well, I only brought that up because you used to open Gypsy Queen 1 or 2 boxes a year to build the base set, and
2 a year.
The reds have always just been, nice red border out of 10. It's a rare SP card. Cool, grab it. But I had no idea that they changed the design this year, so it came up on ComC for like $8. I was like, yeah. But then when it came and you'll see on the video that I took, it's got a nice little shine to it. So it's cool. This Gypsy Queen's always been a fun set to see them try some new things with. So
yeah, and they do chrome now too.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. They do.
Well, is it in chrome or is it in Gypsy Queen?
It's Gypsy Queen, but they have chrome like inserts and refractors now. So they've added that to the game. But I still am so blown away that the protector is the short print.
Come on, it's a throwback. It's a throwback, dude. I love it.
Well, I love it.
Yeah, no, it's very smart, but it's just crazy because people were like peeling, and now it's a not peel because it's the short print. It's so crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. And it's getting me to do the opposite of what I do. I only have 2 cards that are unpeeled. That one and a Jocelyn Tebow that'll never peel. But it's like every other card, even my Mirror Gold certifieds, those I practiced on the base and then peeled the gold.
Yeah.
I have 2 Mirror Blues now. So and I'm deciding which one to peel. So I got to figure out, because my Mirror Gold is peeled, and I already plan to peel or have peeled the Mirror Red, which was unpeeled at the time. So I got to have at least one unpeeled blue now, and I just got to figure out how to do it because I've never done it myself. And it's harrowing. Got
to practice on the base card, dude. Buy a couple base cards, right?
Practice.
Yeah, you'll destroy one of the base cards learning how to do it, but it doesn't matter. It's worth it.
I think I've had some good success on peeling those.
Have you?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. I knew I heard you fiddling around there.
Yeah.
Ooh, I saw one of those of Wade. Those are nice.
Yeah. So this is number 225. It's the Jade. I got it because green is his color.
Great picture too, dude. I love that.
Yeah. Artistry in motion. It's got that canvas. I don't know if you can see like the.
Yeah.
I was literally going to ask, is it a canvas card? Because then I'll want it more.
Yeah, it is.
Oil painting. Does the oil painting part come out, and is it textured like oil painting?
Let's see. The answer to your question is no.
Okay, it looks like it though. Very well done.
It does. Like the design, I was good with you, Alan. I almost like forced myself to see the layering there. It's cool.
I'm not big on art, but you go and see a Van Gogh in person. The oil, the blobs of paint actually come out of the canvas in 3D. So that's why I thought maybe the card did that.
Yeah.
It's very well done.
That was one of those cards that's just, again, like if it just pops to me, it wasn't an expensive card. It wasn't anything that's like, I've got to have it. It was just one of those like really cool cards. I like having unique stuff. And so that was one of them that kind of fit the the mold from my Larry Bird collection.
Well, now I know what I'm going to look for when we're done here. I actually have seen a few, and is that from 1819?
No,
Correct
no,
on that?
actually, it's from 21, 22 Court Kings.
Okay. I'm really particular with the, like you were saying, don't go for post-career stuff, but there's a few that I'm like, I like the picture on there. Like I just grabbed one the other day, and it's from his finals jersey. Like he's in the finals in game 3, I think. But if they use certain photos of him, like when he's got like the cornrows or the big fro that he wore his last year, I'm just like, dude, that was just totally different from what he ever did. So I tend to stay away from that. But if it's a cool picture, I'll go take a look.
Yeah.
I love Court Kings, dude. Court Kings is a great set.
Yeah.
Really fun one.
Well, it's a little hard for me to just stick with Larry Bird's playing career stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's really true. Alan, you want to do one more? I could show one more Wade off that I was pretty happy about.
I think, why don't you go first? I don't have anything queued up right now.
Okay. The cards that, you know how it is when you decide to do like a side PC, you can't just look at a couple cards. I go on ComC and I browse everything. And a lot of times their pictures stink for most of the cards. So you go to eBay and like, what does this actually look like, in a better picture? The early Prism silvers look awesome. Like the first couple years they did Prism, the silvers look amazing. Check out this one. This is Guard Duty. Hopefully my camera will grab it. But even with the crappy camera, you can still see like the shine on there. Look, there it is. I mean, look how freaking awesome this card looks. And when it like in the right light too, with the natural sunlight coming in, like it looked beautiful. And so this is going to be like my primary target for Wade cards. I was sending you a couple in the group chat, Greg, like just ones that really stand out with their shine, as opposed to, just like a low numbered parallel, that kind of deal, So anyways.
Prism's got some cool stuff.
Thanks, Greg. How's my complexion today? Do I have any pimples?
You're a little pale.
Yeah, I am sick. So, but anyway, what were you saying about Prism? Like, does Larry have some of these early?
Yeah, Larry's got some cool Prism stuff. I think I have one Prism, and I bought it out of a dollar box to 2017, 2018.
The National, man, if we were looking harder for those kind of cards of Bird and Wade, we could have walked away with some cool stuff.
Like $5.
Yeah. Those we could have resold those. I mean, for $50, $100,
I found it a Wade. Funny you mentioned that. I found a Wade orange refractor. You guys remember? I showed it to you. He's like laying the ball in. I think it was like $3, and I remember I sold it for like 30 or 40 when the boom happened. And I didn't really like the picture too much, so it doesn't bother me that I don't have it anymore. But it's that's crazy. We probably would have been tempted to resell it all as opposed to getting it now.
Haven't you heard of this card before? This poker chip? I can't remember if I did.
No, I don't believe so.
Nope. This is awesome.
From 2005, Pack Wars. I bought it from that one old school bonds collector who is liquidating and selling some of the most ridiculous bonds cards you'll ever see. Of course, that may be the exact wrong time for me, but this is one of the.
Alan, I'm curious. Are you happy to start like traveling down that path of the oddball stuff? Because I know you showed off maybe it was that one or a different one in a video. You kind of talked about it. Like, is that something you're going to start doing?
Well, I always thought this was cool. So somebody else had the red poker chip out of 10, and so I've always wanted it. It wasn't one of those things where it's just like, I have nothing else to do now. I may as well get a poker chip, right? I mean, I play poker, so I actually really wanted this card. I typically don't go for the oddball stuff, and I don't like stuff that doesn't fit right into my collection. So I got to get this graded. I got to get this in a slab so that it'll fit with the other slabs.
I'm gonna send you one of those like humongous ones or something,
Super annoying if they did that, but I'm hoping to go.
I mean, it would be annoying, but I know I'd get a bit of a kick out of it. Like that would be the best reveal video ever. So, guys, I got a plaque. I'm just thinking of one of that. Sometimes they do that, right, Greg? The like massive slab for these like booklets or whatever.
They did that for my Kirby Puckett Legendary.
That's right.
I was like, why? It's a normal card. It's like a big PSA slab. It's like a suitcase.
That would be a nightmare. I would crack it out. That'd be the one
for sure.
I would crack it out.
For sure. I do want to answer this question before we head off. Jeff asked a question down there. I don't know how closely y'all are paying attention to it. So,
who is going to win?
The World Series. I'll go first, I guess. I'm not an Astros fan either, but I feel like sometimes baseball is the anti-fun league, and I do want Dusty Baker to win. He was obviously the manager for the Giants, so I think he's an excellent manager. Wherever he goes, he wins. Just look at his record. And I don't care about the cheating stuff that much. I feel like if you're not, I mean, I'm biased, but if you're not cheating, you're not trying is what I've always felt about baseball. And I think all the teams are doing it to some degree or another, not to just equate one type of cheating with another. It's not all the same, but I think it's it's kind of a slippery slope once you start pointing fingers. So I don't really care. I do want the Astros to win for Dusty. I would love to see the Mariners win, obviously, for Seattle. I obviously have a good friend who is a Mariners fan. So those are two. I mean, I don't really need to be seeing the Yankees or the Cardinals win. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see the Dodgers win. So definitely not those guys. That's my take.
Well, I'm sorry to say that if I was gonna put money on it, I think the Dodgers are clearly gonna win it this year. I can't see anybody beating them. Would I love to see somebody like Tampa or Seattle do it? Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see the Dodgers go up. Tampa was 2 wins away from doing it 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So yeah, I would love to see that. But it's the Dodgers. I can't see anybody beating them. So I want to see somebody beat them, but I just don't. I don't see it happening. They got great pitching. They got amazing hitting. They got everything you need. Great defense. So sadly, I think they're just going to walk away with it this year. But I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I'm rooting for the Braves.
Back to back.
I've got personal just investment just as a kid in the South. Mm-hmm. So I grew up Ron Gant, David Justice, TBS. I watched those guys. I like Acuna. So that's where my heart is going to be if the White Sox aren't in it. So I'm going to be watching the Braves. I can't say I'll watch every game on all the playoffs, but I'll definitely be watching the Braves and the World Series for sure. With the new format, the Mariners are playing Toronto, and they've got to win 2 out of 3 in Toronto because the home team hosts all 3 games, which I think I get why, but man, that sucks because I would love them to be tied 1-1, come back to Seattle to win that series. Seattle won't get a home playoff game unless they beat Toronto. So I want it to happen. They beat them all regular season, but winning in Toronto, you guys know those fans, they're crazy. Like when Bautista did the bat flip home run, like the cameras were shaking because people were cheering so loud. It was nuts. Like stuff was getting thrown on the field. Like it was just, I'm like, oh my God. Like hopefully the Mariners make it home alive, let alone win the series. But if they even got to the World Series, I'd shed tears, I think, because, I wish my grandpa was here to see it. He would have loved it. Yeah. So. Well, I'm hopeful, we get to see a little bit of some excitement going on. I would like to see something different, but I am rooting for the Braves. I don't want to see the same teams over and over again, but if the Braves are in it, I'm rooting for the Braves.
But the Braves won last year, so they might as well come back and win it again.
Might as well do it again. Acuna was out, and so that he didn't get to play. So I want him to win.
Well, Glasnow starting game 2 of his series, hopefully 5 innings. To see him back and pitching, and not just pitching, but like dominating hitters. He's pitched 4 innings last time out, and he struck out 7 guys. They only allowed 2 hits. Like he is hopefully himself, even in the playoffs. It's so awesome to see him back about a year after the Tommy John surgery. It's phenomenal. So I'm excited to watch him pitch too. So I got 2 things going for me. So I'm with you. I hope it's exciting. That's what I hope for at the very least.
That's all you can hope for baseball. It's an exciting time.
And Aaron Judge, I mean, that's pretty exciting too to see him accomplish what he did, and that fan's going to get paid. Hopefully, Aaron gets the ball back, but I doubt he will.
It's $2 million. I mean, take it.
Yeah, from what I understood, the guy who caught the ball runs some type of $1 billion company.
Oh, you need the money. Okay.
Well, then he needs to find a way to get it to Cooperstown so it's in the Hall of Fame. You know,
Yeah,
do what
so
you
I
need to do.
think I'm assuming they're going to come to some mutual understanding to get the ball back because he's not. It doesn't seem like he's
No,
holding on
good.
to it for me.
Good. Well, that's where it needs to be. It needs to be next to Maris's Spall in the Hall of Fame and next to Roos. If they have him in the same area, I think it deserves to be there. So that was cool to see. Good guy too. He seems like he's doing it the right way. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I think and Pujols obviously.
Oh, dude, I know, and it's so cool. It was an amazing season. Mariners getting in and all these other accomplishments. Let's hope the postseason can stay at that level of hype. That would be fun.
Yeah, it'll be good.
For sure.
All right, 68. See you guys soon, right?
Yep.
All
2 weeks from now. See you guys.
Peace out. I'm going to press the button now. Goodbye.